got kicked out, I'll be honest with you. Failed a drug test on purpose, and because I just didn't want to be there.
You are a PT who's trained many people like Schak, Patrick Topping, obviously Robin Armstrong. People from the Northeast will know these characters.
One of the hardest things about when I was younger was to try and make a choice of like who I wanted to be and like what I wanted to do. I'm just going to do everything I don't want to do to find out what I want to do.
Was it what you thought it would be like going in the Navy?
I was a weapons engineer, CIS. I had like my money that I was obviously earning at the time there, and I had a bit of inheritance. And I was like, I'm just going to go to Dubai.
How did you get evicted? What was the crap with that?
I love it, like I do. And like, if anyone, I've always got my voice, and no one can take that away from us. I just wasn't him anymore, and I just lost everything. I started losing weight, and I knew I was coming off him. Like that I'm done. I was like, I'm sick of being a burden on the family that paid me rent and stuff. And there's just like everything was just going so bad in my life that I just had enough. And I was like, I'm sick of being this person.
So today we are joined by Lewis Blyth, Chopsy Louie. He's got a few different kind of names there, but ultimately you are a PT who's trained many people like Schak, Patrick Topping, obviously Robin Armstrong. People from the Northeast will know these characters. And for me, mate, because I do a lot of work in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
I've also came from a music background as well. So as soon as I met you when we did the shoot with Schak, I thought he's an interesting character in, because obviously for one, you're in mint shape. You get people in unbelievable nick. But secondly, you've got this talent that I've never knew about before that day.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I thought, what an interesting character. And obviously, the more I got to know you and speak to you over socials and stuff, your story is definitely something to talk about. So for people who don't know you, anyway, where are you actually from?
So my name is Lewis Blyth. I'm from North Shields in Newcastle. Very coastal-based person, and I've been coaching now in the industry now for about maybe 7 years, I would say, in total. But it's all led up to it through all my life, in the sense of things that I've done, choices that I've made, and like one of the hardest things about when I was younger was to try and make a choice of like who I wanted to be and like what I wanted to do. I always thought myself, I've always got more to give, and it wasn't just a case of me, like when I was younger, I just going into doing a trade. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I just couldn't lock myself in it. And one of the hardest things was to make a choice. And then I just came up with this thing that was like, I'm just going to do everything I don't want to do to find out what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's what I want to start living by. So like just trying things. So obviously it was the Navy that I was in. So when I went in the military, it was one of the things I didn't want to do at all. But at the time, it was probably the best thing for us, because I was like, right, I just need to get away from Newcastle now. Everyone's starting to progress with their lives and their careers. And I want to try and get a trade or something as well while earning money at a better wage than an apprentice. So I started going down that avenue there. But before I was like working in Asda, then I went in the Navy. Then from the Navy, I was like, I was in for about 2.5 years, and I left, and well, I got kicked out, I'll be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Failed a drug test on purpose, and I just didn't want to be there. It just wasn't for me, and I just wanted to get out as fast as I could, and that was the quickest way to try and get out without being it was the quickest way to get out.
Is it like without being disciplined?
Yeah, and you're not going to get in the glass house and everything like that, and it's just like, it wasn't the life for me at all. I knew I wanted to do something, and what I appreciate about that is it made us like a man, in the sense of everything I do, in the sense like I knew from that point I didn't want to be there, and that was the first time I was like, I don't want to be here, I want to do something else. But I totally appreciate everything it's done for us, in the sense of it's made us a man. Like at the end of the day, I can make my own choices, and like with all the discipline, like going through all the training and everything, it was one of the best things that I'd done, and met some amazing people.
But you can fold your bed sheets and all kinds.
Oh mate, I've got the hospital corners down to a T. You should see it, man. Honestly, back home, it's like I'm always clean as well, prim and proper. Beforehand, I wasn't like that. Like it made us into that sort of like, not OCD, but like I've got ways and like standards now where like I portray all that there into my life every day.
What did you do in the Navy?
I was a weapons engineer, CIS, and I was doing like sort of like electricals, but in telecommunications as well. So like I got like a load of qualifications to go into telecommunication industry when I came out, and I just didn't want to do it. I just thought it wasn't for me. And
was it what you thought it would be like going in the Navy?
I'd say I'm that typical I was playing Call of Duty back in the day as a youngin, and like it was a case of like that was something I was obsessed with when I was at that age, being younger. Because when you're younger, you don't have a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? You can't be living like the most money I've seen someone making and stuff. Was my mama. It was like £1,200 a month, and I thought that was it for me. And the rest of my life, I was going to be doing something like that as well. And then it just got to a point where I was like, do you know what it is? Like I can do something more. I can do a lot more with my time and myself, and I just sort of like really focusing on stuff, and then seeing like this like sort of like industrial age leave, and then this digital age rise, and I was like in the middle of it, and I was like, oh, do you know what it is? Like I was like, I hope I don't like miss this changeover, because now I'm looking at this industrial age where people are so in it, and they're missing out on so many opportunities because they won't be digitalize themselves in a way to become this person that they need to be to help their career and life expand even more and more and more. And I was like, right, well, I need to learn more about that digital age and then how it's coming up. And then I remember becoming a PT and being like, I've got to do these videos and put these videos on. And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But then I was like, no, but this is like something I want to do. It's a passion. And I was like, this is amazing, this. And actually earning money where like you're helping people. And that's one thing I always want to be. I want to be organic. I don't want to be like this person that's selling this pyramid scheme. Like I love your stuff. Like I like, especially when you're posting, right? And like just makes us want it more. That's a massive thing. I look on your stories and like,
appreciate
God, it's like inspiring, because like you're still doing the same thing all the time. I can admit like sometimes as well when you're doing the same thing for a long time, it doesn't get boring. It just gets you just get a sort of relapse in your head, like are you doing it right? Or like sometimes you can fall off a little bit before you come back on again. But like it's all an experience, because when you come down the years in line, you know you're not going to make them same mistakes again as well.
It's funny because you said that, Louis, at the start about you did a bunch of shit that you don't want to do to find out what you do, and that's exactly what our last said to me when I was going through a period of, like I say, working on Nissan and Asda, and I've worked there as well, like all these different types of jobs before I got into business. I was like, and I used to say to her, like, you know what you want to do in life, and I envy that, because like I've never been that way. I've always had this like weird burning desire to be creative in some way, but I've never been able to like utilize it. Like, what can I do? So I've just went down the traditional route, and it was never for me. And I used to feel like empty as fucking inside. Like, why do I just not enjoy this? How can I not settle with the fact that this is what I'm going to do forever? I need to do something off my own back, but I didn't know what it was, so it was so frustrating. But I remember her saying to me, but at least you know what you don't want to do, because I've done fucking that many jobs, and like I say, with you going down in the Navy and sort of getting yourself out of there on purpose, it's quite admirable, mate. I don't think it's something that, I know even when you said it was, you seemed a little bit embarrassed when you said, like, I don't mind saying it when you said that, but at the same time, it's quite, I'm not saying people should go out there and fail tests, no, but at the same time, like, get out of the situation, whatever you can.
Because I see myself as like I could do another 2 years not being the person who I want to be, and I was like, I can't do that. I was like, I can't do it anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, it was getting us so down. Like I was actually crying in that, because I was like frustrated that obviously I had so much of a hole in us, and I didn't want to be there and doing something. I was like, God, this isn't me. I was like, what am I doing here? And I was missing out on like a lot of things back at home. And I'm like, I would say like, yes, I'm a family orientated person, but I'm a bit of a lone person as well. So I like my space and that as well on top of it to do the creative things, because if you get too many people around you at once and on top of you, you just end up not doing anything that you want to do. So like, I like having that sort of like, that lone sort of time as well. That's a massive thing to help us be like creative, like you say, because you need your space for creativity to do things.
Where were you based when you were in the Navy? Where'd you go?
Started off in Plymouth, and then I went over to Portsmouth to do some more training, and then I went back base at Plymouth on a HMS Albion. That was my first ship that I was on, and we went straight into something called like FOST. It's like sort of Ofsted at schools, I would say. That's a sort of standard thing when you go in. It's like a 6-week training thing, and it's just heavy, like you're always doing scenarios and stuff like that on the ship. And I was like, this isn't for me. This like,
what were you actually doing through the day though? So when you're saying like scenarios and stuff, what was your daily life like in the Navy?
It was crap. It was no, and I'll be honest about that. Like I would say, like during the training, it was meant because you were busy all the time. You didn't have time to think, because everything was wrote down what you were going to be doing next, and you just had to be there. And then when like, you just get like jobbed off of just crap jobs, like in the sense of when you're on the ship and stuff like that, because you're a low rank, and then obviously you can't really be trusted with anything that's really high, like sort of risk or anything like that, until you sort of like earn that the ways up. I get it, I do get it, but like in the sense of things, I was just changing earth cables. I was just filling out like a booklet, like sort of thing. Nissan, the sort of thing we had to do the green books and that one back there, and it just wasn't for me. Like what it wasn't like
Right, I hope you're all enjoying the episode so far, and if you are, do us a favour and hit that like, press that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you are notified when the next video goes live. And the reason I tell you to do that is because the majority of people who watch these videos aren't actually subscribed, you little tinkers, and we work tirelessly to bring these episodes to you every single week. We travel up and down the country, we put a lot of work into this, and we travel overseas and all to bring some banging guests here. So do us a favour and hit subscribe, will you? Did you find any love for PTing in there or like that?
About the fitness. So one of the things in the sense of like before I went in, it was like before I went in, I remember, right? So I used to play Call of Duty all the time, and I was like, I've got to find a way where I can play Call of Duty and train at the same time. So I bought one of them, like one of them towers where it's got the dipping station thing and a rack as well. And I was like, I used to play Search and Destroy all the time, and I was like, right, every time I die on Search and Destroy, because you don't like come back to life straight away. And I was like, I'm going to do 10 pull-ups. And I was like, right, because I was getting into fitness. I was going in for runs and that all the time, doing like 1.5 miles, 3 miles in like 20 minutes and things. It was amazing. I was getting so fit. And I was like, right, it's going to be like that all the way through. And I started, when I was in the Navy as well, I started doing like powerlifting competitions and stuff. And then obviously when I got all that training, when you were on the ship, like you weren't able to do as many things and stuff as well. But then like fitness was a massive thing where like I was just constantly doing that because you had that to do as your time. Like no one was going to frown at you if you want to stay fit. That's one good thing I would say definitely about the Navy. They wanted everybody being fit. And apparently now they don't even do the 1.5 miles and stuff like that. Everything's changed.
Really? Yeah, it was 1.5 miles in 9 minutes or something.
To get in the Navy, it's like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
No, it's 11 for a male. It's like 11 minutes 13. It was at the time when I was going.
Right.
You know, it's not that hard at all. There. I was getting it at like 9.5 minutes. I was getting it in around that time there when I was going down for that there. And it was all on flat ground when you were doing it when you run around as well. It was
so just to get like a time. How old are you now? If you don't mind us asking?
31 now.
31. And when did you leave?
I left in 2016 and 17, one of the years.
So about 8 years ago.
Oh.
So when you were 23, so how did you go straight into PTing?
No, so
I
came out.
I
came out and I was like, I need a job. And that, when I came out and done a job, like I didn't want to end up just doing things I didn't want to do, earning money quick ways and that. I want to just like try and focus on something. I was like, I'm out now. I've got a bit of money there behind us. I was like, I can obviously have a couple of weeks off. Do you know what I mean? And then think about what I want to do. And I was like, right, well, do you know what it is? Like, I was like, I'm going to sign up for Nissan. I was like, right, I'll go there. Started working at Nissan, and it was a case of I'm going to work at Nissan and do my PT course online at the same time. And I done it through the PT Academy. That's how I done it through. It was all right for being online, but I wanted to try and smash through it as quick as I could while I was working Nissan. But it was good because I had the wage coming in and I was doing the course. So when I was on my shifts and stuff like that, I would do my course either in the morning or the evening, depending on when I was working. And I was blessed. I never got a night shift ever at Nissan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that,
but
I didn't get that. Like, I hate doing night shifts. Like, that's horrible. The body just not.
Did you have a plan though, Louis? Did you think, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this PD qual, I'm going to get out in Nissan, and then I'm going to build up a client base? Did you want to work in a gym in particular? Like, how was it?
So, like, obviously, I was still keeping myself in really, really good shape across the time that I was like being in Nissan, and like it was always driving us. And the person who was one of my mates, well, he is one of my mates, sorry, Liam, who owns Graph Gym, he was like saying like you should do PT, and I was like, people aren't going to pay me for going to the gym, man. I was like, no way. And he was like, he's like, because like you don't really like admire yourself in some aspects that you're actually good at sometimes because you just think you're being big-headed and stuff like that. And then I was like, do you know what, I'll give it a shot. And then I ended up leaving Nissan, and I was like, right, well, I've had the qualification ready to go. I left Nissan, and then I just went all in. I went, right, I didn't even have a job. I left Nissan. I was like, right, I'm just going to go for it. I was like, it could go wrong, it could go right, and it was like a big jump. And I remember like couldn't sleep at night times because my heart was racing. I was like, God, what have I done? I've just like left a job, and I was like, are you going to be able to pay all your direct debits, your bills and stuff? And I went, no, let's just do it. I said, just go for it.
That's the shit that excites you though, mate.
Yeah, it does.
Shit, doesn't it?
Like, I like having that sort of like tense chest sometimes and being like, oh, like, is this a risk and stuff? Or like sometimes like doubt myself because sometimes I override it. Like I would say in my head and be like, because some things you think in your head aren't even things, they're just sentences that you think of that aren't actually stated out. Like sometimes I say the things that I don't even mean out loud because I'm thinking it in my head. But then sometimes it comes to my head and I make a judgment and a clear conclusion, like and then think about it, and so it's not even my voice sometimes when I'm talking about it. I'm not saying like obviously I'm insane, or like I'm just saying that like sort of doubt voice in your head where you can't do this, you can't do that, and I just like rising above it as well.
The thing is, mate, I think a lot of people call that like imposter syndrome, but I talked about this on a few podcasts. I can't remember the guest who I was with at the time, but I do kind of believe imposter syndrome's made up, you know, because the reason, like, why should you feel like you'd be confident at doing something you've not done it before? So of course you're gonna feel like you can't do it. Of course you're gonna feel like, who do I think I am to get into the PT industry or whatever? Like, I remember when I first picked up a camera, mate, and I was filming an artist. Like, why would I have the right to film a rapper or a singer?
Yeah.
I'm just a lad who bought a camera and give it a gun, and then I end up getting known for doing that. When really it was just because I wanted to do it. I wasn't really fucking skilled at it, mate. If I'm honest with you, I just love doing it.
That's how it happens, though, and that's where the best like talent comes from, and someone just loves it. Like I only started earning money and sort of gigs when I started doing performance and stuff now. Like it was only this last year, and I've always done it for free and everything beforehand because I've
got performance coming up, haven't you?
Yeah, it's on Sunday coming in.
Oh.
Yeah, the Scott and Wilson is. I love that bar, mate. I love
Unbelievable,
Bobby Burgers from there. Get one, definitely get one. Bobby Burger.
But I just want, you know, when you said that, I want to go back a little bit when you said you just went all in. What does that look like? Does that mean go to a local gym, become a PT in the gym? Does it mean start your own business? Like what was the model?
Starting off, like, it's one job in the world that you're going to start doing when no one's going to show you what to do. And you're like, oh, well, like, is my way right that I've been doing? Especially when you first knew, because you knew towards doing it, and you'll end up probably building an even better strategy to get people in shape. And like later down the line, I remember my first plans in the first year, it was like Microsoft Word, black and white. It was just text. It was crap, like, in a sense. And like I understood at that time I had to be a bit cheaper, because obviously I was starting out and I wanted to try and build a clientele business. I was doing 12 sessions a month for £160. That's what I started off doing as. And I remember just being like, right, this is at the start. It's how you build your clientele, and let's just go for it. Like, I've never done it before, and then obviously learn like how. For me, I was very industrial at the time, because I was just do this, do that. All right, I'll go do it. And what I mean by that is like not going on the laptop, making plans, and like doing other things to other people. Especially with the technology now, even from when I first started to now, it's way more accessible. Like everything that you've got access to. And then just riding with it, and then being like, is it, like, obviously I was panicking, like, is my system going to work or anything? And one thing I really do hate about the fitness industry, right, is like how brutal just like some other people can just be about someone just getting something wrong, and then everyone just guns in on it, man. Just starts like demonizing like the person for saying it. If someone's trying, yeah, fair enough, and that, like, and like, yeah, stay in your own league, I would say, at the start. And if you don't know anything, go into the leagues that you want to learn about before you actually start mentioning anything about it. I get that fully, but I do think like it's overrun a little bit by just some people that are just having a bad day and just want to belittle some people. Someone just got a little bit something wrong, and they just wanted it, and then you just go a bit too hard on like going, oh, I've seen this is totally wrong and everything. But like being negative about them being wrong instead of just being like, you know, this is actually a way to do it.
But like, how long did it take for you to kind of find your feet? Like, because again, for people who don't know and listen, I've seen your work. You're fucking unbelievable. I'm not just saying that. Like when I see, mate, I've worked with bodybuilders and coaches for years, absolutely years. And some of the work that you're knocking out, and obviously I get the client, but they're still working under you, under your guidance and expertise. And to get to that level, that's not something that happens overnight. So do you think you've always kind of had that in you anyway, or is it something that you've had to work tirelessly to get better at?
I've had to become the sort of testing product of everything I've done, and I would say like I've worked with Jimmy Tonk. He's a professional bodybuilder.
I know Jimmy.
That was incredible. I think for me, I've always wanted to be on stage, and I didn't know what it was for. Like, and I've been on and stuff like that, and like for the photo shoots that I've done, I'll always be honest about it. I'm never going to lie about it, even if it makes me look worse or something. Like that. I don't mind, because I'd rather be known as honest at the end of the day than anything else. So like I remember when I first started going like, right, I'm going to like, I'd done me sort of like year or two like learning the ways and like building my own clientele, and then I went, right, because I've always been in good shape and stuff. And when I first started doing PT, and like I didn't have a sort of structure to like how I have people coming in, and then I'll be doing an intro week, and then doing like a bit more the next week and a bit more after that. Like I remember left the Navy, the people coming in, I was just blasting them. I'll be like, I've been beasted, and you're gonna get beasted as well. I had one bloke come to us the next week after doing legs, and he was like, my legs are still hurting from the week before, you know. And I was like, a week later, I was like, we're doing them again now. But like that was the mentality that I had. Do you know what I mean? Like it would just go for it, and just like show no weakness, and just have a smile on your face when you're doing it. And I was like obviously a couple of years down the line, I started building a system. I was like, God, and I started like changing my views as well, because sometimes over time, one thing you could say at one point is totally different down the line. Like 2 years later, you're like, no, I don't believe in that anymore. And I love that, and I accepted that, where you don't have to just stick to them things, especially when you get wiser, like, as well. And I thought, do you know what it is? I built like a sort of thing. I started working with someone online. It was absolutely terrible, and like, I think it was just a pyramid scheme, and I just got caught up in it, and I just seen it advertising and that, and I'm not even going to mention the name of the person. They don't deserve any more light on the name in any way. Then I started working with Jimmy. I learned loads of Jimmy, and like.
So at this stage, though, were you in a gym or were you online? What gym were you in?
I was just PTing at BHP gym. That was the first gym I started PTing at. It's a really good gym. It is a really good gym. It's got so many good bits of equipment and exercise. Sorry. Like, it's got free weights, it's got the machines and stuff as well, and they're pretty much up to date, I would say, as well, because a lot of gyms as well at the time were just getting like old bits of kit from other gyms and starting a gym and stuff. So it was like the first gym where I seen was a bit more up to date at the time, and I was training from there. And like I say, like when I was training in the military and that, it was just a lot of circuits and body weight and stuff, so I had to adapt and stuff and get used to this sort of weight training lifestyle that I was going to be doing, because that's what I preferred. It's a safe they're doing bodybuilding, right, and incentive things, right, and this is what I learned. It's the safest sort of training, whereas like sometimes, like, if people don't know form, CrossFit can be like an enemy, where they do injure themselves and stuff where they go for it. I'm not saying it is a sport that injures you. It's a person that doesn't know enough. That's how they get injured. Like within things like that, it's perfectly safe, I would say, if you know what you're doing, going into it and just practicing and just taking step by step. But I love the bodybuilding side of it because it was safe. Machines and things, and it was a lot easier for someone to start off doing things like that before going into like doing the sort of big free weight exercises or something that might be CrossFit related later on down the life. In the training and the coaching. And then one thing I love, and I honestly think this should be taught in all schools, I think like the sort of not bodybuilding dieting, right, but the view the bodybuilders have on the dieting should be taught within schools, because how valuable it is to not waste food and things that in a bodybuilding diet, you know exactly how much you're going to be spending every week because it's all weighed out for you, and you can actually make a big budget out of it. What do people need to know now? They need to know how to budget foods and like the income and the outgoings, like, all together, and everything's getting way more expensive in the UK because of everything that's going on at the moment. And like, I think it's a massive thing that should be taught, because it gives everybody the control about, so like the calories is how much you weigh, macros is how you look. If you want to look, you should be taught, if you want to look fit and healthy and being in good shape with better performance rate, a bodybuilding view on a diet is going to get you further than just winging it and just thinking, I'm just going to have high protein or whatever and just going for it. So I think it's an important thing that I think everyone needs to realize that nutrition is a massive key factor to anyone's well-being, and I think the bodybuilding way has the best view on it to help people progress in their performance, focus, and just mentality.
Do you know what I think's unbelievable? Not even bodybuilding specifically, just getting in a gym and doing something, right? I think it teaches you kind of like delayed gratification, because I know business, mate, and I've had a shitload of failed businesses. In fact, the content PT is the only business that I've ever succeeded in, ever. Every single one of them bombed. And I learned the hard way a lot of times and all that type of stuff. But what I realised is, when I started training, say 10 years ago when I first ever went in the gym, and my journey was a bit different because I had a shift. I lost 8.5 stone, and I was fat when I was young and all that type of shit. But I remember, like, once I got the weight off and I was going into the gym, I realised that if I just keep doing this, things will only become better.
Yeah, it is.
But it's never tomorrow. It's always like, maybe it's in 6 months, but I've got to just keep doing it, and I don't see it. Business is exactly the same. It's like starting a podcast. Right, I had a goal. I want to do 100 episodes. Did 100 episodes. We're on 140 or something now. 17,000 subscribers. I'm not saying that as if it's big, because I know it's not.
No,
but at the same time, I never thought I'd be flying around the world to do podcasts.
Yeah.
Because them are not even things that I even thought were possible, but I just knew if I keep doing it, only good things can happen. It's the same as training. It's the same as knowing how to eat well. If you keep eating clean, you're probably going to look better in 6 months. Do you know what I mean?
Your confidence is through the roof as well.
And your confidence and more opportunity.
You're in a better position in your mind to do, even like when things happen bad in your life, you're in a better position because you've been looking after yourself and making sure that your well-being is top priority.
And you stay ready, mate. There was a lad that I've had on the podcast recently, mate, and he said his granddad and it was quite emotional because I asked him what he'd learned from his granddad or whoever, and he said it was his granddad who taught him a lot about his entrepreneurial mindset. And what he said was, his granddad used to always say, make sure you've got a few quid in your pocket. So if there's a deal, you're always ready. And I think that's the same with fitness. If you look half decent, you feel half confident, if something comes up, you can have the confidence to just go for it. Yeah. Whereas if you're a bit reserved, you feel self-conscious, you don't want to do X, Y, and Z, or you feel a bit out of shape, you're probably not going to push yourself for the same opportunities which would present themselves. Yeah. If you were 25 stone now and a gig came up tomorrow, you might go, actually, do you know what? Let us shift a bit timber first before. You just don't know. Okay. So if you stay ready or stay there or thereabouts, you're never going to fall short, really.
You've always got a confidence.
With Jimmy, what was, because you mentioned earlier on about your mum kind of making 1,200 quid a month.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you didn't come from money.
No, never.
So when you started building business, you went with the likes of Jimmy and stuff, and you were kind of improving your own system. What kind of money were you making?
It's just, honestly, it's PT and online, but coaching in general is up and down. Obviously, you've got the time of years where people knock off. You've got the time of years where people jump on, and you obviously get the holiday seasons as well, where things go a bit different for other people coming in and out. But when I first started, it was going good, and then it was still going really, really good and stuff. And I think the most I've done was like 5 or 6 grand within a month. I think that was about it, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I'd made that much money. It was something like, I think it's between 4 or 6 grand or something like that. I can't roughly remember the numbers anyway. But I was buzzing. I was like, whoa. I was like, I've done it. I couldn't believe it. Some lad from Shields I was living in next to Verne Road was just like doing this, and like people were trusting him into doing things and stuff. But then obviously after training with Jimmy, that's where it all went wrong. Like in the sense, like, I'd done my photo shoot and stuff with Jimmy and stuff, and then I ended up getting evicted from my house, and I was running peds at the time, and all this was going on. I was not straight-headed, like, at all, and then I didn't have any other way to go, in the sense I had no house and that there. I got evicted from...
How did you get evicted? What was the crowd with that? Was it your own house or your parents' or?
It was a council house, and obviously it was owned by my mum, and obviously we had grandparents that died and stuff, and it became a complication because there's other things on top of it. I'm not going to get too much into, but like, I just got to a point where I got evicted, and I was like, right, like, what do I do? And I had like my money that I was obviously earning at the time there, and I had a bit of inheritance, and I was like, I'm just going to go to Dubai. So I went to Dubai.
Was that what you did?
Yeah, I just went over. Obviously, I was with my ex at the time, and then when I went over, and like, I just met her out there, and then I just like, I tried to focus on business for as much as I could, and then just realised I just didn't want to be there. It just wasn't a lifestyle for me, I would say, in the sense of things.
Were you still trying to keep your coaching dreams alive?
Yeah, but like, there was a lot going on at the time, and like, my head was all over, and then I went, like, basically I was on, and then I was in this country, everything was running smooth, and it was mint. It was the best time I'd ever been on it. And then I went over to obviously Dubai, was getting stuff over there, and I'm telling you, I just wasn't doing it properly. And I was over there, and I was like in a holiday mode in a sort of sense, because I'd obviously been evicted. I was trying to have a bit of happiness when I was over there. Probably took it like going a bit drinking out and a bit too far in a sense. And then I just started getting acne, like spots, and it was one of the worst, like, it took 18 months, I remember, from like Dubai to recover from it.
Why were you doing that? Can I ask? Just for people who don't know, like...
So I wanted to be on stage.
Right, okay.
I didn't know what it was for. I didn't know why I wanted to be on stage. And I was like, I wanted to perform and do something that was like to my full capability of myself. And I was like, what is it? And I was like, well, I thought it was bodybuilding because I used to always go to the gym, but it wasn't. That was one of the things that was keeping us in line and healthy, and like, in a sense of, I've always done music. I've always like played guitar since I was 11, and I've always had like a couple of little songs and that every now and then and stuff. But then I started like taking it seriously and like going, like, I really do like doing this. This is something I want to do. And then like, when I obviously got back from Dubai, I moved in with Liam, one of my mates who owns the Graph Gym. Moved back in with him from Dubai, and then got my own place and stuff. And then that's obviously when I started going a bit wrong, because obviously I was like all over in my own head, like, about everything that was going on, and I just got a new place, and I was like, I'm coming off these, because it wasn't the lifestyle for me. I would say the first 10 weeks or like first 10 to 15 weeks when you're on them, it's amazing, because like, when you're first doing it, you're like, oh god, you can feel the gains getting stronger, and that wall that you were at is just getting broken past, and you're like, oh, I can see the strength. And then you get to a point when you're on them for a certain amount of time, that wall is back there again, and you're like, oh well, I'm doing, and then you just obviously jabbing. It's not glamorous doing all this jabbing and that all the time, putting like needles inside you. And
Have you got any photos of how big you got?
Yeah, I've got.
Send us them, mate.
I'll send them all. And like, that's when I say the spots started coming of acne. It was on all over my back and stuff. And then I just like, this is where business went down, because I just wasn't that same person anymore. I just wasn't him. Like my business ran off me being somebody, and it wasn't just my clients. It was mainly at this time, main focus was on me, and I just wasn't him anymore. And I just lost everything. I started losing weight, and I knew I was coming off him, and I accepted it and stuff. But it was like horrible 18 months in the sense of like my head and that are like, not like imposter syndrome and stuff like that. It was more like
kind of losing your identity.
I was unbalanced in my head, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then one of the things that really saved us at a point was getting back into music, because I was like going with things that were going on in my life and stuff, and sort of like writing things down and then taking a bit more. And I was like, I really enjoy doing this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my first gig was absolutely terrible. Like,
yeah, but it's like therapy though, isn't it?
Yeah,
doing all that, it's like self-help, in it.
Yeah, like it's like some of the songs like I lean in emotion. Some songs are not even serious; they're just like sort of made up. But a lot of them, yeah, some of them really, really do come from the heart.
Would you say that was your lowest point though, Louis? Like that whole saga there of being evicted and jumping on the peds and.
Nah, I'd say it was like it was like a relationship that wasn't going well. Like obviously that was coming into the part of it as well. Like after being in Dubai and stuff, coming back, and I was with the same person for this amount of time, and they got like sort of the New Year's part of that after Dubai. It was like I came out in February sort of time, and like it's deep, like it is deep, and like I just felt like Lewis, like I had a really bad Christmas. I didn't have like any money or anything like that. I wasn't seeing all my family because I didn't want to see my family because I had no money for presents and stuff. And like I've got little sisters and stuff like that, and like I feel like a bit of a shitbag, like turning up with nothing, and like I had nothing to give. And I was just making sure I could get like a bit of food, or like even some days not having food, because I was like it got like so low. And then obviously I broke up with like I'm not gonna lie, like I was at the same time like over Christmas I probably shouldn't have went out and had like go for drinks and stuff, because I wasn't stable head. And like that's one thing I know now: if I'm not stable headed, I'll not touch a drink at all. I will not touch one. I'm not saying I don't like drinking. Like I will have a break from drinking, but I'm never going to say I'm going to quit it, because one thing if you say you're going to quit something, you just demonize yourself for going back and doing it. And I'd say I'll take a break, and I like doing it when I'm saying performing, or like having an event for a birthday or anything like that. But I'm like saying you're going to quit and then you're doing it again just makes you belittle yourself even more. And it was a bit toxic in that I got called certain things by like very personal things by the ex-partner and that. And then it was a point where like the next day I was just going to take my own life, and I was on January the 1st, and I was like,
really,
I'm done. I was like, and that was it. And I was like, I wrote the notes and that, and I was just like I can't. I wrote the notes, and I've still got them now in a sense. And I wrote them out, and I was like, that I'm done. I was like, I'm sick of being a burden on the family that paid me rent and stuff. And there's just like everything was just going so bad in my life that I just like I just had enough. And I was like, I'm sick of being this person. And I just like it was horrible, like because Christmas is like a family time, and I've been from this being like they earn this like $4 or $5 grand a month, and I was just like £750 a month. And it was at Christmas, and I was like, it was horrible. It was like a horrible feeling. And this is why I sort of hate the sort of stigma like Christmas brings around now. And I can understand now why people sometimes don't like certain holidays, maybe a death in the family or something, or a bad point in their life. And I do feel like at Christmas sometimes now when it comes around to it, I'm like, I don't want to be in the same position again as last year. They're getting better. Like they're not where I want them to be and stuff now, but like they're getting better in the sense of things. And like my business is back thriving again.
Mate, do you know what, mate? Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you for telling us that, because that's quite a vulnerable thing to open up about. And I think a lot of people will draw strength from that, because I know that Christmas is a fucking tough time of the year for a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure, I don't quote us on it, mate, but I'm pretty sure that's when the most suicides are.
Yeah,
towards Christmas in and around that area. And obviously there's a lot of that, and you've kind of touched on your experience, so it's testament to that, that statistic. When did you start training Patrick Topping and Schak and Robin Armstrong? When did you start? Because again, for the people who know these guys, but these are top music industry leaders. Like they're the big guys in the game. So why did they come to Lewis Blyth? What's the reason?
Honestly, I was gobsmacked as well.
Was it the fact that was it right place, right time?
So me and Schak have known each other since we were kids. Right, I've got Shaq's name big tattooed on my arm there on the side, and I've got the Trick as well, Trick logo.
Was that before you trained them?
No, so no, I'm
You
not.
can
I was
imagine
just a farm boy. No, so I've known Shaq since I was like 12, 13. He used to live on the corner from us, like on the it was Denton Avenue and Stamford Avenue, and just on the corner. We used to say like do things with each other all the time and that. Then went separate ways over the years as well. Like just had a bit of a falling out and stuff. It was my fault. I'll admit it was at the time, and like I'm so grateful as well for him letting me back in his life, and we've got such a fucking good relationship now, like best mates, and it's really good. And I'm always there for him, and he's always there for me, and like he knows it, and I know it. So like he came to, I remember because it was the way I look at Shaq, especially with the music side as well, like he teaches us so much in the sense of like especially positions he's been in, like when like say like online if he's ever been belittled and things, or he's been in certain scenarios, like it's like he's like a good few more steps ahead of me in the sort of music and stuff, but I get to see all of it happening in a sense. So when sometimes it comes up to me, these things happen to me, like that Vamos video I showed you earlier, I went viral, I got griefed about that. I didn't even get one bit upset about it, like I just accepted it, and I was like, but then like it's only because I'd seen all these things happen to like Patrick and Shaq, or the stories that had told us, and it made us like bulletproof in a sense, and I was like, nothing's phasing us now, and I was like so grateful for it. So he had been concentrating on music for like a good few months, and he came back to the gym, and I've always known Shaq as being like athletic, and this was a point where he had been just nailing music. That was all he cared about at that point there. So he came back, and he wasn't this, I was not saying he's not his normal self, but I've seen Shaq in many different shapes and sizes. You should see one of the photos of him, right? He looks
Send us the photo.
Oh mate, he looks like a brute. He came back and he's like, I want to start training again. And I was like, no, this Shaq. I was like, because obviously I had like fallen out with me younger and stuff. And I was like, no, this, I owe you this. I was like, I'm going to train. I want to show you like how much, like I'm so happy like we made back up and stuff. I was like, I want an online PT here. I was like, I'm not going to charge you. I was like, I want to show you how much like I do value you. And he's like, no, this. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So he started doing online with us. And with him, one of the main things he likes in-person push, like he does. And this is why I hate these like online videos going, PT's dead and all that sort of thing. It's not like I love going to work, and like I did online for a bit, and I didn't like it because I wasn't going to work, and being around the facility and the things that I like actually make us like more powerful in itself. And I started picking back up what, like not just doing it online. I started working with Schak and we'll do PT from January, and then one thing I said to him at the start, I was like, every cut that you do, you'll get better at your next one. And I was like, you'll not be the best at your first cut. I was like, you've got to take this on board. And at the time, he's like, oh, we got him down to like, we got him up, and then obviously like muscle and stuff, and then we brought him back down with body fat. But it wasn't the lowest, like, even like compared to now, it's like miles off compared to what the first one was like. This one now, the shoot that you done was incredible. And like everyone keeps saying about how like the photos are, as well as the efforts that me and him have been putting in. And then obviously we started training each other. Then he had like things that, it's hard training, like say a touring artist. It really is hard because I've only got access to so many things. But as a PT as well, I've got to understand that their full efforts are into music. It's not into the gym. The gym is there for them. So for me, what I use for is staying balanced head and level headed. Shaq loves it. He's a demon, loves going heavy all the time, every single time, absolutely smashing the gym sessions and that, and he can like handle the recovery and stuff.
How did you end up working with Patrick? Was that through Shaq?
It was, so I obviously going into the year from Shaq sort of PT, and it came to June the 5th, and that's my birthday, and I took the day off, and I was like, I never take the day off my birthday, and I was like, I'm taking the day off today, just because I see other people doing it, so I'm just going to do it. I normally wouldn't do it, it's just because I got told to. And then Shaq rang us at like 12 o'clock, he's like, Louis, he's like, what? He's like, you getting to work tonight at 6 o'clock? I was like, I'm not like, as I'm off, it's my birthday. He's like, you get the fucking gym at 6 o'clock at night. I said, why? He's like, because Patrick Topping's going to come and train with us tonight. I was like, what? And he's getting out. I was like, I'll be there. I was like, I will be there. I was buzzing because in the past, when I started first doing music, I'd like messaged Patrick and that about like things.
I was going to say, because that's why I asked you, because you're someone who is pursuing a career in music. So these guys have obviously, you kind of looking at them for guidance or like a role model in a way, because the people from your area who've done ultimately what any musician would ever want to do or achieve in life. So was that, did it feel like surreal training them?
It was like, especially as well, like with the situation that was happening as well, like obviously with working with Shaq and then seeing how far I was going with music as well, and like the shape he was taking, and obviously he was seeing Patrick's gonna come along. I was like, God, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be amazing, like helping him get in shape. It's going to be amazing, like learn from him, because I love learning, like in the sense of like, especially something I'm really interested in. Like I find it hard to learn something I'm not interested in, and when you've got like someone at the top level like Patrick and Schak there collab, like, you literally listen to both of them speak at like in a room, and there's so much information, especially like with some of the stories I've been like the come up stories, and like you hear from like Patrick and Schak, and it was like, so people had told them no, but they kept saying yes, and that's why where they are today. Like that's why they are where they are today. Sorry. And it's like so inspiring, because when I came up with moments like that with anything, even in business as well as music, like it's like, oh well, just move on, brush it off, next person, next thing, next task, next song, next whatever it is, and like it drives us to be like them in a sense of inspired.
Did you notice, Louis, when you were working with them guys, and did you notice your business pick up? Or did it not work like that? Because I'll be honest with you, mate. I'll tell you, in my business, when I've worked with like big profiles or big brands, I notice I get quite a lot of business when I'm working with just one person. Like if I say I'm working with, I don't know, this guy, and he's got 5 million followers and he's well respected or credible, I notice I get a lot of messages from people who just local lads from the area, because they see that. Now, I've never changed, but part of us thinks, well, you didn't fucking message us then, did you?
Yeah.
I was still doing it.
Yeah. No.
But now my prices have gone up.
Yeah.
But did you notice that or not? Or was it not like that?
One thing I would say definitely happened within like doing the sort of the coaching side was I learned like you can get to a certain level, and then like let's say now if you don't put the right things in place, you can burn out dead easy. Mm-hmm. So let's say now like business did get really good. It did get good. Obviously, when I was working with them, at the same time I was still doing it off my own back and everything, and it was getting a good point again. And then it like I would say I burnt out again after that, because like I say at the start of the year, January the 1st, I was in a different mindset then. And obviously when I got to that point there in that year, I couldn't believe it. Like from being January the 1st, not want to be here anymore, to June the 5th on my birthday, with the day I was born, working with like 2 superstars within the gym.
Fucking mind blowing.
I was honestly, that was one of the, it was a moment in my life, and that's why I've got both things on my arm for us, because that was a massive part in 2023 where everything changed in the sense of like seeing life from a different angle, and not just like feeling small or that things could get better. And it was like a confirmation that it can and stuff. But I would say in the sense of things, it was a good, like people take gap years and that out, do you know what I mean, and things like that people do. And like when I started working with them even more, I started getting more invested within music, I would say. And it wasn't a case of like I wasn't pushing more for clients in the sense of like I want more, come work with me, do this, because I hated being a pyramid person. But I started getting my time more occupied with doing music, because like I started doing it, so it wasn't really a big thing, because everything I know to do in music now, on like recording side, not the guitar and stuff and like the singing and stuff, and the recording, because that was one thing I couldn't afford to do, and I've always tried, I'd rather learn it. I had Schak and Patrick there, like, and I was like, I was learning how to do everything in a sense of like Schak was coming around my house and like, this is what you got to do here, this is what there. So it wasn't for Schak, my music would never even be recorded, because he was the person that pushed us to get better at doing it. Having the sort of talks with both of them within the gym and that about the coming up stories and the putting down stories and things, that drove us even more. But then I wasn't pushing it like after the new year, like going to 2024, I wasn't pushing, because I was making an album, and I was just concentrating on people that wanted to concentrate on me and be there, instead of just pushing out and trying to get more and more people. So I would say like from that point there, where it got like towards business started going down again towards the end of 2024 September, but I wasn't pushing for more and more people. And then I started getting more back in a rut again, and I realised it, and I was like, God, but the album was finished after Christmas, and it wasn't a good Christmas again, just gone. It was a case of like, I knew what I'd done though. I'd put a lot of time into this album.
So you can see the reason why.
Yeah, but then I was like, well, I could have went to studio and paid thousands for someone else to do it for us. It may not learn anything, so like it didn't hurt as much, because I was like, I've got something. I was like, I've got a whole album.
Is that album out now?
It's coming out bit by bit. So it's coming. I put some songs out bit by bit now. It's coming out. It's mixed genre. It's like rock, R&B, rap. It's just a big mix. Yeah.
Can you send us some bits on there?
Yeah. I'll send you all through. The Spotify, I'm on Spotify, YouTube, and all the major sort of things for music, Apple Music, and that as well. Yeah.
So I wanna kind of like, because we're coming towards the end, and for me, I feel like we could easily do a part 2. I feel like we haven't even scraped the surface on a lot of things, and I hate it when this happens on a podcast because I'm like, fucking hell, like it's so deep and understanding you as a person, and I can tell you're my type of person, mate. So I always know when I meet someone. Like, I said the same thing to Schak, and it's funny because obviously you're a really good mates, and I was in Shaq's a couple of weeks ago, and we had a proper deep conversation, mate, for a couple of hours about various different things, and like you're either that type of person or you're not. Do you know what I mean? And it's no wonder why you're the kind of mindset you've got, the kind of background, the upbringing, your drive, determination, the setbacks, even the thoughts of when you didn't want to be here anymore, and all them little things that built up to you being you, mate. I wish you all the success in the future, and I really mean that, mate. And I'll do what I can to help you and support you.
Oh no, I do appreciate it.
And I said that to Shaq today, to be honest. I said, look, at the end of the day, mate, like, I know my platform's only small, mate, but if there's something I can do to try and help you push your stuff, then why not? And ultimately, behind all this, mate, I know I'm in fitness, and I know, and very similar to you, music's me love. Like, that's the shit I love. Do you know what I mean? So, where do you want to go in the future? What's your goals moving forward?
I want to be known as one person for the things that I do, instead of living this like double life where like it's my own fault in a sense. It's not my own fault. I've just built them. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to try and merge it all together. But like, someone said to us, like, would you ever give up PT and the business that you made if you were to go further in music? And I went, nah. I went, no, because like I wouldn't be the person I am now without doing the fitness. Because that's one thing where I'm not going out getting absolutely smashed and wrecked and balls and just taking all the, like, when you go to play shows, getting absolutely off it and everything. Because I look at that lifestyle being so easy just to go and do. Cause
but what's your goal though? Because
I want to do both of the things like at the highest level possible that I can.
I don't think you can. I know that's
no.
I don't want to sound negative when I say that.
No, I appreciate
the reason I say it here, if I look at Patrick Topping, if someone told me he was also a window cleaner, I don't think he'd be Patrick Topping.
Yeah.
The fact that he's all, like, if you went for heart surgery and he told you he's a joiner, but he does heart surgery and stuff, I feel like you don't, and I know it can be done.
No,
I just feel like there's something about you're not that full identity with that thing, and I guess, why would you be? Because it's more of a risk, but at the same time, you are a fucking risk taker.
Yeah.
Clearly, so. But I know what you mean. You kind of need that fitness element to be the person you are to pursue music as well. So, if you could choose one or the other, biggest PT in the world touring artist.
It just cuts off.
Because I think, deep down, before you answer, I think it's artist.
You know, don't you? You know, yeah, obviously there it would be, because in the sense of things where I'm doing something I absolutely love, and I didn't realize how much I did love it until I got this sort of age now. I'm 31 now, and like, I love it. Like, I do. And like, if anyone, I've always got my voice. Like, I've always got my voice, and I can always sing to go through life. Obviously, staying fit and healthy and taking the right precautions and stuff. But I've always got that, and no one can take that away from us, like, at all. Whereas like the gym and stuff, someone can. Like I could lose it. Like, I've had the experiences where I thought I was going to lose everything, and like, I can't lose music. Like it's impossible. And the one thing about it means so much was because it can change you so much. Like, just you're having a bad day, you hear the right song, you're back again. You're like, yeah, meant like the gym isn't that quick of a fix in the sense of like how music hits you like that. And I just want to try and get my story out and tell my story, the things that happened to me and what I've done.
Lewis Blyth, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Honestly, really appreciate it. And where can people see your music, watch your videos, get trained by you? I will put everything in the description anyway, but just for people to listen.
If you want to listen to my music, head over to YouTube, Spotify, and Out of Music. It'll be on Prime and everything as well too. And if you want to catch me in the gym, come to the Graph Gym in North Shields. It's just next to Silverlink at Shimo House Farm.
Thank you, bro.
Cheers,
mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you. So if you've enjoyed this conversation and you like things like this, make sure you click up there and watch this episode.